Molly, all the way from Flagstaff. Awesome.
Did I miss anybody?
Else that we missed?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Couple more in the back. Nicole Gutierrez Miller is here. She's also on Tempe Union Governing Board. We have Amy Stagey for Fire Union Governing Board. And Kevin Walsh, the president of Fire Union Governing Board. We have Regina Gutierrez, who's our responsible for Fire Justice in the states. Do we meet anybody? Oh, and Jennifer Germain, of course, for our Justice of the Peace for San Marcos Precinct. And then if you are a candidate that's running for office, please stand and we will recognize you or introduce you really quick. Oh, Charlotte Windsor from Tempe Elementary Governing Board. Thank you for being here, Charlotte. Elect our candidate, we also have Jennifer Germain. I missed Sandra Kennedy walking in. She's on SRP also. Candidates, we have Jennifer Germain running for Justice of the Peace for University Lake, San Marcos Precinct in Chandler. Brooke St. George, Tempe City Council. Nicole Gutierrez is running for Senate. Armando Montero running for House in LD12.
Hey, Sherry.
Is running for Hiring Governing Board. We have Michael Everson is running for Tempe Elementary Governing Board. Rick Peters is running for Hiring Elementary Governing Board. And Richard Delaney is running for Constellation. Thank you guys for being here. Really quick, I'm gonna give Jennifer Germain her couple minutes per bit because she can't stay. She has to run to late.
They can't see that.
So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Sharon, for allowing me to go a little early. Unfortunately, LD12 and Sun Lakes Democrats meet on the same night at almost the same time, so I can be in both places at once. Jennifer Germain, I'm running for re-election as your Justice of the Peace for San Marcos that covers the city of Chandler and Sun Lakes. All right. I'm the first woman, the first Native American, and the first Democrat to hold this seat. 100 years. I do have an opponent. Some of you guys may have heard of him. He's a state senator named J.D. Messner. So if you live in Chandler, Sun Lakes, I would really appreciate it if you sign my petition. We're on default now, and I put cards on the table so you can pass that around to your friends and neighbors. They can go on the Secretary of State's website and sign my petition. I'm not allowed to ask folks for money as a sitting judge, but Armando will be doing it on my behalf later on. But it's going to be a tight race. I'm like I said, I'm the first Democrat to have ever won that seat. And when I was your state legislator, I was the first Democrat to ever win the second seat. So got a little bit of a reputation as a speaker. I call it more qualified. But we do civil litigation, we do small claims, we do traffic court, we do protective orders, and we do criminal misdemeanor crimes. So we're one of the busiest courts in the state. And as a sitting judge, I am very, very limited on what I can do out in public. I would really appreciate your support. If you're going to be around Chandler on this Saturday, I will have a booth out at the Chandler Multicultural Festival. If you stop by to say hi, Saturday, 11 to 7 at Eugene Chandler Park. Thank you. Allison Ewers of Tempe Elementary is here too. Okay, so we have some bada bing raffle baskets that are for sale over here. There's a QR code on your agenda, so you can purchase tickets that way, or if you want to purchase tickets over here with Mark, he can take care of that for you. The first one is Von Tea Just Whistle. It's a really cool basket that has a tea kettle and various teas in it. And then we also have a sparkling wine and dessert basket. And I just want to take a quick minute to thank Judy Wade and Bill Baker for always contributing these people. If you have anything that you would like to donate, see Judy. Judy, can you raise your hand? If you have something you think you might want to donate, she'll let you know. She can use it in a basket. Thank you guys.
Okay, state committee, the meeting is on January 24th in Yuma, Arizona. So how many people are planning to go to Yuma? Oh, okay, great. These are the people you want to give your proxy to if you're not planning to go. So if you need a proxy, you're not gonna go. You do need to get a proxy. You can fill out the form. We have them here. You can specify who you would like to give your proxy to and how you would like that person to vote on your behalf. If you don't know who you want to give your proxy to, just give it to Sherry and then she'll make sure, she'll help get the information out and get it to somebody on your behalf. And please remember to register if you have not done so. The proxies are due by the 21st of January. And there are going to be 11 bylaw changes, so that's going to be important. And if you're unable to attend again the state committee meeting, please make sure to get your proxy to us by the 21st. Any questions on proxies? Because I know that sometimes that gets a bit confusing. Yes.
If we cannot attend, like, I'll try to show it, online. If we cannot attend and we plan to have somebody who's proxy, do we still need to register so they know that we intend to be there?
Okay, they do not need to register, the register saying they're gonna be there, we're not, we just need the proxy, yes.
What types of proxies do you have?
So in the email that I sent out to all the state committee members this weekend, it describes the different types of proxies. There are instructed proxies and uninstructed proxies. And uninstructed proxy means you give your vote to somebody else and they get a weighted vote. So if Nicole gave hers to me, that means I vote and my vote counts twice for whatever I vote for. If you do an instructed proxy, you list out how you want to vote on everything and that person votes how you ask them to vote. It's all explained in the email if you are a state committee member. Since we have a state committee meeting coming up, we'd like to give our councils and caucuses a minute to give us an update on what they're doing. So Mary, you want to come up and give us an update for June caucus?
So we have been busy, and we had a meeting with the sheriff, talking about how we can be unified as far as we all can be unified against hate. And there's a resolution, the anti-hate resolution. So we want to go ahead and be unified as far as that. All of you have probably heard about the burning down of the temple in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. This was a temple that basically the rabbi in the 60s supported desegregation, and he was an activist, and that was bombed in the 60s for that association. And he was a very and so this temple is the only temple in Jackson, Mississippi, and now it's burned down. So there is anti-Semitism. There is hate of all the marginalized groups. So there's ICE. And so our focus is electing Democrats up and down the ballot, not having divisiveness and unity. And so we have I secured Mark Kelly to come to our Zoom meeting. We have a lot of elected officials. And we always have our state representatives at every meeting updating about local issues. Since we're all around the valley, we have a lot of elected officials, including, Mark Kelly, and we're asking Katie Hobbs to come. So we are focusing on going ahead and electing Democrats up and down the valley.
Marion, what do you guys need?
What do we need?
No, when do you need?
When do we meet?
When?
The third Tuesdays of every month, unless there's a state committee meeting, and then it's the second Tuesday. So tomorrow we're actually meeting. We're electing a new vice chair from outside of Maricopa County because I am the chair of the PJC. As far as positions of the people primary, we don't have a position, but we do go ahead and give that information in regards to all the information. I know you've gotten information from our Rules Committee, Stephen Jackson. There's a lot of controversy about it, when it should be passed and everything. On Slack, on the ADP, I also shared another letter. I know that the Progressive Council so we share everything with our caucus, and if they have questions, we also have people that can answer. And I know that the people, I think Nick is a member, and so he can share also all sorts of things. And so when people ask me, I know that as far as a proxy, I've always, if someone directs me, even if it's against what I believe in, I'm going to do what their directed proxy says. So I encourage you to learn about the people's primary, about the resolutions, because there's going to be 6 resolutions, and there's also going to be 11 bylaws changes. And so there is definitely a controversy about the people's primary, whether it should be passed now or in the future, modified. I think that there was like 90% that said we agree in the concept, but do we agree on the details? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. I do have an update from Allison Porter. She's our chair emeritus, and she's also the chair of the Small Business Council. And she wanted to let everybody know that they are moving right along with the small business directory. It is called upliftshopperaz.com. And there you will find DEM-friendly businesses that you can support all aspects. It can be an accountant, it can be a florist, it can be a restaurant, it can be a travel agent. And they are doing a facelift on that website, and they're trying to, in the process of integrating the LD12 blue businesses onto that and many other local restaurants within the next week or so. And she will be sharing that in Slack also once it's ready. Nick or Kai, do you want to come up and give us an update from Progressive Council?
Good evening, friends. How's everybody doing? Hi, New Kirk here, co-chair of the Progressive Council. Great to be with you here in LD12. We got a room full of Democrats here, so I'm sure that we're all in agreement that we don't think billionaires like Elon Musk and corporations should be trying to buy our primary elections. Is that right? Yes. And it's in that spirit that our state committee passed with a nearly unanimous voice vote in June, a resolution calling on us to create a people's primary policy to stop billionaires and corporations from trying to buy our primary elections. And it created an ad hoc committee that has been working over months to consult with candidates and elected officials and party leaders and campaign leaders and union leaders and organization leaders to develop a policy to get that job done and fulfill the aim of that resolution. And we brought forward that policy now, and it's based on the only proven concept, the only proven tool that exists that Democrats can use, that our candidates can use to try to intervene and stop this, which is the People's Pledge that Elizabeth Warren pioneered in Massachusetts in 2012. So what we've done is develop a policy that makes taking this people's pledge part of the rules of the road for our Democratic primary elections. And based on a lot of feedback, a lot of consultation, we're restricting this policy as a pilot program for just 2026 to safe or solid Democratic districts and jurisdictions. Because one of the biggest things that we heard from people is we want to make sure that as we're trying this, there's no unintended consequences in the general election, right? It wouldn't be applied to any general election anywhere, no matter what. But in this case, it'll be applied in situations where we know Democrat is going to win the general election, no matter what. Is that clear to folks?
Yeah.
Applied in safe or solid districts, right? Where we have a chance to start to clean up our own house as Democrats, to show voters that they can count on us, that no matter what, the Democrats that come out of those districts are going to be representing the people, especially the poor and working class and not billionaires and corporations. So we've developed a policy. We're grateful to have the support of LD12 Chair Melissa Galarza, of leaders like Terry Goddard, Raquel Teran, former state party chair, Senator Catherine Miranda, Senator Lauren Kuby, former Senator Martin Quesada, and others. And we're bringing it forward for a vote at the January 24th State Committee meeting. There are questions around the procedure and all that, and we're working it out with the rules chair and the chair of our party, Charlene Fernandez. But we believe it is time to do this, and it's urgent because this problem is only getting worse. It's only getting worse. Every cycle, we see more and more industries like crypto the last time. Do people remember that? Now Wall Street is saying that they want to come in and get involved in our primaries, but we have power to do something to stop it. That's why we're bringing this policy forward. So I wanted to see, could I take just a couple questions to see if anybody has anything they want to ask? Come on, I know you got some questions. We're going to be doing some forums that all state committee members are welcome to. 3 forums coming up between now and the 24th. And we've got
How are we
yes.
determining what the safe blue districts are?
Yes, so what the proposal says is that, okay. Real quick before I answer it, on all the tables, there's handouts that have more information. I think it has a QR code. You can sign up to endorse, you can sign up to join those forums, to plug in. And what we've always said is we want to work in good faith with anybody who agrees this is a problem we should try to solve. We want to work with you to get it right, and we believe we've done that with this proposal. So the question was, how do we determine what the safe or solid Democratic districts and jurisdictions would be? What the proposal says is that at the congressional level, we're going to use the Cook Political Report, which is considered the gold standard within the politics industry, as far as I'm concerned. At the state legislative level, we're working with the Democratic leaders. Senator Prius Underation is one that we're working with to develop that list. And then using partisan voter index. I don't know if folks are familiar with that, but it's if you see those numbers like Democrat +5 or Republican +10 that define a district that tells you how strong it is in one direction or another, that's what we're using to determine. And in consultation with stakeholders at whatever level, right? So at the state legislative level, we're working with the Democratic leaders there. At municipal levels, we want to work with Democrats in those cities to determine it. Basically, if it's not a Democrat in office now at that place, you know that's not considered, right? Because we're trying to pick it up. So if one is, then it's going to be based on what those metrics are. Thank you for that question. Do you want to choose one?
One more, so.
Okay, thank you for the
We'll go
time.
right here. Nicole, right here in front.
How will you assure then, if they're not gonna use that business money in our primaries and stuff, you don't lose it, you don't lose something worse in your general election?
Can you restate that? What do you mean lose it to something worse?
So if this is in our primaries and stuff, but if they go find the other party, group to give money to there, how will they ensure that doesn't happen for the general? It won't matter in the primary, but can you assure us it won't hurt in the general?
Got it. So one thing to be clear, because a lot of times there's confusion about this stuff. Campaign finance is complicated. So one of the big confusions was, oh, this applies to general elections. No, it does not. Another is this concerns what people can raise direct to their campaigns. No, it does not. It does not deal with that. There's already laws that govern what you can raise directly to your campaign. This has to do with outside spending, independent expenditures, super PACs, right? So our contention is that this will actually mean that there's more money available for Democrats in the general elections because we're not going to be wasting it in the primaries. So anybody that actually wants Democrats to win in the general election, and everyone's welcome in our anti-fascist coalition, right? Whether from right to left. So anybody that's on that side, and they're gonna be on that side in the general election, we're saying, hey, don't spend that money. If you've got big money to spend, don't spend it in the primaries. Let Democrats decide and then come in on that. The other thing about this, I want you to know that we did a statewide poll of voters to see how they felt about this. And it showed that 65% of Democrats want us to pass this policy, informed about the details, versus only 13% opposed. And better than that, there are really, really good numbers across the board in terms of how people would respond if we did this, that they'd be more likely to see our party more favorably, to register as Democrats, to vote for, volunteer for, and donate to our candidates. So we think we'll get a surge of small donor spending, donations to our party if we do this. So we're gonna have more money in the general elections to take them on because we're not gonna be wasting it in the primary. And we're gonna be inspiring people to give to our party and to volunteer and to vote for us by doing something that's so popular. I hope that's a good answer.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the time, everybody. We'll be around this all that.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Marion, Allison, and Kai for the updates from the various councils and caucuses. Next, we'd like to invite up all of our school board members so that we can recognize you. January is School Board Appreciation Month. And we know that our school board members have sometimes a tough and thankless job that is a volunteer position. And the last year has been challenging for a lot of people. So we want to bring them up and give them a round of applause and our thanks for everything that they do for our communities and our kids.
Come on up. Don't.
I will start on the left. We have Kevin Walsh, who's the president of the Primary Governing Board and the kiddos. We have Andres Baraka, who is the on Tempe Union Governing Board. Nicole Miller, Tempe Union Governing Board. Jacob George is in Falls Elementary School District. Armando Montero is Tempe Union Governing Board President. Allison Ewers, Tempe Elementary. Tempe Elementary. Charlotte Mixer is vice president, and Charlotte is the president in Tempe Elementary. We have Amanda Steele from Tempe Union. We have Eric Miller from Tempe Elementary, Amy Satry from Kyrene, and Cedric Collins from Kyrene Governing Board. And Allison had a quick update for you.
Hi, everybody, all of my public education loving people. I like to be extremely transparent when I come to your meetings, as you all know. And we just recently had a meeting this week, the other boards have a meeting this next week to do some changes. So I first wanted to introduce you to Charlotte Windsor. If you haven't met her, she's our president. For this year, I'll be the vice chair, so that's gonna change in that. And then there's also been some questions and concerns, which I'm so happy to hear about because people are paying attention to what's happening in public education. So I wanted to let you know that we made some really big decisions in Tempe Elementary this last Wednesday night. And we had to cut $7.4 million of our budget, or we could not. That was one of the choices, not. And when you do not, you've seen that some of the schools have gone into receivership and then Tom Horn has taken over their schools. So that really, I don't think it was an option. It was on the table, but it wasn't our option. So what we did pass was, it took us over, I want to say we've been working on this for at least 8 months to a year. There was a lot of drafts, and thanks to Dr. Driscoll and his staff, they were able to concentrate on 3 things that were important to us. And one of it was, I don't know if you know, but the state will only give 2% raises to teachers and staff, or the inflationary rate, whichever is lower. Right? Okay. So with that said, the estimated inflation is 2.74. So what we put into our equation was the 2%. Tempe Elementary School District is expected to have 6, maybe even up to 9% increase on our insurance rates. And we offer 3 plans with Tempe Elementary. One of them is a no-cost plan to our employees. We want to keep it that way. We want every single staff member to have insurance. And the third is that we expect to have a 2% decline in student enrollment. This is nothing new. This is happening to all of us. 2%, I believe, is a little bit conservative, seeing as if the birth rate is so low. And when I'm asking all of those that are in the room who are elected officials is to do everything you can to find a way to incentivize people feeling comfortable and safe having families. So with that said, we came up with a solution, and the solution was to make sure that all of those goals were met, which is amazing, but it can be done with a will and a group of people in the room, thanks, Bridget, that have the tenacity to get it done. So it meant removing a prep for some of our teachers. District level staffing will be really reduced. So you hear all the time, oh my God, at the district office, there's so many people, if you just cut them all. Well, I can tell you what, we have slimmed down as much as we can in order to give adequate support to our staff and our teachers. We are going to have to cut down on some literacy specialists, and I know there's many of you in the room who do come to our schools, read to our kids and assist with that. So please continue to volunteer. If you want more information on that, let me know. We're going to have to outsource our night custodians. Now, they are unsung heroes, and I think that was one of the hardest things for all of us. Through COVID, if we didn't have our custodians, we wouldn't have had our schools open. So the goal is to make sure that when we do that, that they have the first right to those jobs. They deserve them, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure they keep them. Everyone will be reduced 1 paid workday. That stinks, but it allows for everyone to keep their jobs where we are and a lot of the benefits that they have. We have to eliminate paperwork stipends. We're going to have an elementary staffing reduction due to enrollment. We're going to align PE and music and eliminate roving health assistants. This one was kind of hard for us too, because our health assistants, our students have health needs. Our students also, their families are losing their health insurance. So schools aren't just schools anymore. They are places where children and families get fed, where people get health care, at least a minimal amount of health care, and especially our children. And so we are doing the most we can to team up with clinics such as Native Health, eye clinics, shop clinics, Southwest Center for Behavioral Health in order to get them as much health care as we can. But losing our roving healthcare assistants is going to be hard on our kids and our families. So that gave us 7 million. We have a little rollover. We needed 7.4, but that's what we had to do. So you hear that we're going from a ratio of 1 teacher to 45 students. Now you know. If you hear that we're cutting people's health insurance, now you know. If you hear that we're slashing 1,500 positions, now you know. Okay, so you guys are the most informed people in the room right now. Please pay attention to every single person that's up here and what they say and what they're doing, and watch the school board meetings for a bit if you can. I know it's not like watching The Greatest Race or Stranger Things. Maybe it'll be like Stranger Things very soon. But it's important that you all stay informed because you're the leaders of the community who are conversationalists. And I wanted to make sure tonight that you knew what changes Tempe Elementary made, and then these guys are going to be making similar hard decisions soon. So that's my update. Thank you for giving me the time to do that.
Appreciate you so much.
Make sure.
Our first guest speakers are going to be Melissa Harlan. She is an LD12 newly appointed PC and candidate for SRP Board for District 8, which is our area. And we would like to also invite her council candidates, co-candidates, Nicole Brown, our Nicole Brown. Nicole Brown, and Randy Miller is another one, but he's on Zoom.
Yes.
And then we also have Sandra Kennedy here to chat with us too.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us the time tonight to talk about this really crazy and confusing election that we've all decided to run for. The SRP board election, is something I didn't know about until fairly recently and felt very compelled to run for this position, to help keep our utility rates low and not have increases year over year. We also are really dedicated to clean energy, but I'm gonna let Regina talk about that in a second. So Nicole and Regina and Randy, who's on Zoom, are running for SRP District 8 Council. And I'm running for an SRP District 8 board seat. And then Sandra is on the board currently, and she's running for board president. So we're very excited that she's stepped up to be. So I'm running to meet Regina for a second.
Hi, thank you so much for your time. I wrote down a few key points because there are a lot of interesting facts to know about this election. Closer, okay. So, a lot of people don't know that SRP is not accountable to the Arizona Corporation Commission the same way that all the other utilities are. They have their own governing board and they run their own election. And people who can vote in that election must be landowners, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but you have to be a landowner to vote. So that means if you own a house and it sits on land, you get to vote. If you're within the right area. So there are a lot of SRP customers that don't get a vote in this election at all. And there are a lot of people who own thousands and thousands of acres of land that get thousands and thousands of votes and they're on the board. It makes it very easy for them and their friends to be on the board. So we would like to run to represent all the people who don't get a vote and fight for affordability and clean energy going forward. And if you all register to vote and help us, we could get a majority on the SRP board this year. So between all the clean candidates in all the districts, there are 10 districts. So what we're asking from you all, and we can help you with this, is to verify if you're eligible to vote, request an early ballot that you can get in the mail, and send that ballot back in by the end of March, voting for all the clean energy candidates that are on our website. We'll have materials. Also, if you'd like to donate to us so we can get materials to give it, that would be great too. We need volunteers. And we need volunteers to help us get the word out. We really feel like in this district, we have enough people, even with all of our 1/8 of an acre, when we add them up, we can get elected, but people need to know this election exists.
I think the key to is you have to request your ballot. If you don't request your ballot, you're not gonna get to vote, just that's key. So check your eligibility.
How do you request it?
Those of us know what you hear are not. So any of us. Okay, so those of us that know what you hear are not eligible to vote. So many of us, we don't have that right. We just. Why?
Something happened when the utilities being sold off to the 1800s for the land that we all live on now.
It's kind of like if your land used to be farmland and that was grandfathered in when they created this system 100 years ago, you qualified. But if your land was not a farm, that's kind of a general one. Yeah. That's why we still need help with the election. And if you talk to people you know who live in South Tempe or Chandler or Mesa or Scottsdale or Phoenix, Sandra's running for president and she's an at-large member. So everyone around the Valley and SRP area can vote for Sandra. We also have 2 at-large members running for re-election and another at-large member running for vice president. So even if someone's not in our District 8, there still are at-large members that need votes and signatures as well. You want to talk about that a little bit?
No, there was a like, oh, there's a question.
Thank you, Sandra.
If we had voted in past SRP elections, we automatically get a ballot?
Yes.
Yes, you do. And for those of you who aren't eligible, here's one of the things that I would like to do when I become president, is to make sure that you get the opportunity to vote in the next election. You know, been on the board for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. Let me tell you, this is no pun intended, but these guys are asleep at the switch. They sleep in our board meetings. They sleep during the most important time of issues that we are discussing. They have no clue. The only thing that they think that they are due is the spoon that was given to them, the silver spoon that was given to them at birth, that they think that they should still hold a seat on the board. We have got to make that change. Whether you are a voter, we need your support. We need your bodies. We only have 3 weeks to get signatures. The election is April the 7th. That's how soon this is coming up. We don't get, the election is not during the same time as the other elections around the state or around the city. It is very important that you help us, able bodies, get signatures, help us with funding. And I know that's sometimes difficult, but we need your help and your support. So thank you.
I have a question, and that is that in general, SRP is better than APS in terms of money, et cetera. And it was the National Land Reclamation Act in 1902 that set up SRP. I taught history at ASU. But SRP is incredibly bad about solar energy.
Yeah.
They give you 2 cents for every solar kilowatt hour that you generate and sell it for 14 cents. It's the only way that APS is better than SRP as far as I can tell. APS gives you 12 cents per hour and sells it again for 14. So I'm really confused as to why SRP, which was started as a Land Reclamation Act, is so bad on solar energy.
Those are the things that we want to change, right?
Yeah.
When we get on the board, those are the things we want to change.
I can't vote, of course, but I tried, got a nice letter back saying no.
Many of us have.
When we went through the pricing process early last year, that was one of the things that was really of concern to me. And the solar customers are getting a really bad deal this pricing process that has gone into effect November 1 of last year. So it is important to help us get elected because we do have ideas about how we want to change the board and how we can help you as ratepayers. And the most important thing is looking at lowering the cost because we are subsidizing the water side, and the water side are the farmers who sit on the board. And we subsidize them at $70 million a year. They're paying it, it's basically, I call it double dipping. I call it the subsidy, and they call it just seeming to help the water side.
We don't have time for any more questions.
I just wanted to say one more thing. Another thing about this race is Turning Point is focusing on it. So Turning Point USA has dedicated $10 to $20 million against us running for this board election and council election. So we are up against a big amount of money, but we just need volunteers to help us to educate people and get them their ballot so they can vote if they're eligible. Nancy Kapuzian has volunteered to be our volunteer coordinator. So she also is very knowledgeable about it, and she's gonna help us get some volunteers organized to help get the word out about it. So, thank you.
Nancy the Bridge.
Thank you. We don't have any time for any more questions, but I do want to mention that we will have upcoming signing events for all of our candidates, but we're using that as an opportunity to educate our community about SRP. We found out there's more information in the back, but by and large, most people don't even know about this. And just to be very clear, this is completely separate from any county, municipality, statewide election. So on your agenda, again, there's a QR code if you want to see if you're eligible to sign up for the voting list for SRP. Even if you're not, share it with your friends who live in other areas of Arizona so that they can do it. This election is the even number district, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then next time will be the odds. So if they don't vote now, they might vote for their local ones next year, but they would still be voting for president and the at-large seats. But yes, get registered ASAP if you're eligible to vote, and if you're not eligible to vote, be talking to people about it, because honestly, this is the first I heard about it when we started talking about it last year. And that's super frustrating. So thank you guys, and congratulations to our Nicole. Talk about the events that we have, which are all listed on your agenda, by the way, on the back page. All of our upcoming events are on there and on the LD12 calendar.
Do you have that in the upcoming events? If not, you do have a QR code, and it should be in front of you, all the upcoming events and meetings this week and for January in total. So you'll see the LGBTQ Dems, Maricopa County. I really need this slide because I can't figure it out my last, but it's on, well, that passed, so, well, January 14th. And then conversations with Contreras is on the 16th, LD12 James is on the 17th, as is Chandler Multicultural Festival. Do you see it on there? Okay, good. So these are all the, I don't need to read them all to you, the most important ones that the state committee is definitely coming up. Tempe City Candidate Council Candidate Forum is next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the 20th. It should be. And Kendra Flooring, where are you at? I know I saw you here. Okay, she and I will be moderating that council. And it's a panel discussion for Tempe City Council candidates. So those of you that live in Tempe and you're interested in knowing who's running for city council, please come and get some information on the candidates. And then AZ Dems Readers and Leaders Book Club. Yes.
Not you, Kurt. So
Okay.
there's more slides for upcoming.
Armando has his kickoff on the 25th. So Armando Montero, there you are back in the back, running for House Representative, kickoff on the 25th. And then the Blue Tuesday Forum and LDM's Watering Hole Wednesday. So keep this, if you, again, this is on your agenda and there is a QR code in there as well.
Next
Next
slide,
slide, please.
Keep going. Okay. Here you go, I saw those.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Yeah, again, that's not that again. If you would like.
Save the date for Dead Into Life, and that is gonna be on February 21st, from 6 to 8 p.m. There is a QR code. Thank you to Marianne, right, for all that you've done to get this up and running. But the QR code is here, and you should have one at your table. And again, the tickets are, you can sign to volunteer and donate a baked good. And again, the date is February 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. And the address will be upon registration, right? Or is it? Yeah, okay. Next slide.
It's at my house, I think there's my house, so.
Yeah, next slide is that.
Okay, and then another quick reminder for the bottom being raffle baskets, we have the QR codes on the agenda, or you can pay over here with Mark. So be sure to get your tickets. And then our next guest speaker, I'd like to welcome up Jacob George. He's the founder of Unity Rising. Unity Rising is an organization that he created to counter Turning Point USA. And he's going to be talking to us about the work that he's doing and how it can help.
And emphasize how important the SRP elections are, so I know we're gonna be helping out as much as we can, and we've already committed to sending around 15,000 text messages, so that's something that we're gonna be very active in. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of go into my story. I'm gonna have to be a little bit shorter on time, so I'm gonna try to kind of make it kind of quick. But I'm originally from Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where I grew up, and I know you're all dying to know, or more, no, I'm recovering. I think I know we're getting up for that. But when we moved out here 10 years ago, we moved out to the West Valley, graduated at Desert Ridge High School, where I spent a lot of my time. I first kind of started getting kind of involved politically in 8th grade, really, during the Red for Ed movement. And I was out there every day marching with my teachers, and we went down to Phoenix, I was marching with them then. And then when I went to high school, I started running for every single club that you can imagine. Some I didn't have any business being in. The robotics club, I couldn't tell you a thing about robotics, but I was the president. But the club I did run for was the Gay Straight Alliance. I wasn't out yet, but I ran for that club, and just for treasurer, also didn't know anything about money, but I mean, I understand. But while I was there was something called the No Promo Homo Law on the books in Arizona, which was enacted in 1992, which basically said that you can't, a teacher or a school can't say, okay, gay is okay, or being a part of the LGBTQ plus community is okay. Also, you can't teach safe-sex practices, and a lot of other things. So I was in health class one day, and the teacher asked, well, what would you do if you got to go pregnant? I was like, I wouldn't. And well, he didn't like that answer, and he said to me, well, you have to write it. I said, we're straight. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. And so I went to my club sponsor of the GSA, and we joined forces with Land Illegal. And Land Illegal, I was the unidentified plaintiff, and we sued the state of Arizona. And that law was actually appealed by the Arizona legislature. So that was kind of how the first kind of got started. I later came out in, senior year of high school, and I got kicked out. So I was living all the way in the Biltmore area, and I had to go to school. Well, I would go to Starbucks in the morning to work, and then I would go to school, and I would work as a server at night. But I relied so heavily on my educators, my teachers, and my administrators that got me through high school, and then helped me go to college at ASU, where I'm at now, with scholarships and grants and all that fun stuff. So this is how I kind of gave back, is I decided to run for my local school board, Balls. That's kind of in the Arcadia area and the airport area. And that's kind of how I decided to give back. But after that, during 2022, I decided to work on Mark Kelly's coordinated campaign at ASU, where we did a lot of voter registration, getting Mark Kelly elected and Governor Hobbs elected, and all Democrats got on the ballot at ASU. Fun facts, there was around 10,000 people that showed up to vote on election day in 2022 at ASU Tempe. And out of that 10,000, 96% of them voted for King Hobbs. So if it wasn't for ASU, King Hobbs, Chris Mays, they wouldn't be there. So they did a lot of great work. This last election cycle, I ran Tim Stringo's campaign. Many of you know, we love Tim, ran for county reporter, and I also worked for HRC. After the last election, though, we realized there was a really big problem, and that was Turning Point. We saw they were really taking over high schools in particular, and that's something that we really wanted to kind of counter. So kind of our mission, we're an organization that is working to build power of young working class people through grassroots organizing, voter registration, bold, simple messaging. We're also empowering students on high school and college campuses to really challenge the far right narratives. So kind of why it matters. Ever since 2008, Democrats have usually gotten around 60% of the votes during presidential elections. This last time, it was down to 51%. So we saw a huge decline in where young voters are going. And part of the issue is that kind of at the top level, Democrats have really just said, oh, they're going to vote for us no matter what. And that's not true. We actually do have to invest in young people. So what is Turning Point? So I have to look at their faces, but it is what it is. We'll go to the next slide. Turning Point was actually founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery in Arizona, actually. And so they've really grown exponentially since they started. This is actually kind of some old, this is from like before Charlie Kirk died, but now they're up to 4,000 high school chapters across the country. But that is, they actually have an actual club in the school in high schools, and they're really trying to, go after young people, specifically men, but that is one thing. Also kind of worrisome that some states are now trying to require that there be a Turning Point chapter on that school. So we're seeing some bills like that in Florida. So kind of why TPUSA actually does work. They do year-round organizing, not just during elections. That's something that Democrats we have started doing as well. They also provide free activism kits and resources for their students, and mobilize those youth in far right-wing politics. And they also blend politics with culture, so they try to make it like a fun group to be kind of a part of. So some unity chapters, we kind of just said, no, if they can do it, we can do it too. So might as well go into the high school and do what they've been doing. The reason why they're able to go into high schools is the First Amendment. So they have a freedom of speech, and so that's what we're going to kind of do as well. So we give up to $1,000 a year to support our chapters. They're focused on civic engagement, voter registration, and community actions. So they have to do at least one voter registration drive and community service projects per school year. Also, another aspect of that is our chapters. We had one in East Valley and Red Mountain in Mesa. They did during lunch over 100 voter registrations on their school, and the instructors do partisan voter registration. So most of those were Democrats, and it was like 90% were Democrats, and the other 10% Republicans who gave back to them, so they can go and return them as schools. We're not going to turn them in for them. So kind of some of our focuses in 2026. We're wanting to reach $100,000 digital platform growth through social media. So Instagram is really trying to get young people to start chapters at their high school. We would like to establish 50 chapters. Chapter social media advertising starting at the end of this month. And we are also hiring a chapter development director as their full-time job is basically to find chapters. So we'll be doing that in February as well. And one thing I also want to point out, I don't know if I'm sorry, but the Turning Point last year in 2025 brought in $140 million. That's just last year. In 2024, they brought in $85 million. So that was an election year. So we're seeing them grow really fast. And they have a lot of resources and a lot of money. So kind of our media strategy, we have follow us on social media, it can be fun sometimes. This is just that you need to rise to USA. But this is Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Oversharing. We like to throw some punches, you gotta be, you gotta be witty about it. You gotta meet young people where they're at. So kind of our long-term vision. So right now we're in Arizona path. We're going to establish a federal path to start going to some other states this year. And then hopefully by this year, we can also apply for 501c3 and C4 status to hopefully have that by 2028. This is an investment in a long-term organization. This isn't just a one-issue single race. For some current updates, we had a wonderful Christmas party at one of our chapters where we got them all pizza, all that fun stuff. Voter registration, which I kind of talked about. We also helped out with the Deer Valley School override, which we texted 10,000, that was 15,000 voters, and 3,000 of them actually clicked on a link to find a poll near them to vote, and that actually did pass slightly, and they haven't passed since 2018 or 2019. So this is very, very cool. We also have we back last year around July, we did file legal complaints against Turning Point for they spent over $500,000 on Andy Biggs is whatever, I mean, we can talk about waste fraud and use, I think that's waste fraud, we should waste money on Andy Biggs, but I digress there, but they spent $500,000 on media ads that they didn't disclose who the top 3 biggest contributors were. So that is in violation of a law that was passed in 2022 that says you have to disclose your top 3 biggest contributors. So we filed legal complaints against them. And well, the Supreme Court now trying to strike down, the Arizona Supreme Court is trying to strike down that actual law that the voters actually passed. So there's a lot going on there. So we haven't really had an update on that. And consider becoming a New Rising member. You can also sponsor a chapter. I want to say thank you to Jane Hyder. She printed out some stuff on the on your table about how to sponsor a chapter, and she's been very instrumental. So thank you, Jane. And I will go around for questions, and I'm trying to wrap up, so I won't answer any right now, but I will be around.
Just to reiterate, we have Desert Vista, Mountain Point, and Corona in the LD12 boundaries, so we're looking to help them organize chapters in those schools. And of course, as many as possible beyond LD12.
Janie and Ellen Shema has sponsored Rona del Sol.
Yes, Janie and Ellen sponsored Corona. Thank you, Janie and Ellen. One more reminder, buy Robin raffle tickets. Want tea, just whistle, and for dessert, sparkling wine and more. Our blue business spotlight for tonight is a local business in Chapman Mall. They specialize in custom laser engraving and woodworking projects. They were just at the Home and Garden Show this weekend, and they were featured on AC Family. They are a one-of-a-kind creations blending artistry, function, and personalization, and it is called Smoke and Mirrors Design, and the owner lives right here in LD12. Next, I just want to remind current PCs that we are starting the process. What is a PC? Let's start over. A precinct committee person is the most local representative of the Democratic Party. You represent us in our legislative district, in your neighborhood, and you're able to vote on leadership here at the LD level, on decisions that we put to the PCs. You have a vote for county leadership, so you after this election will be electing a whole new board for LD12, whole new board for Maricopa County Democratic Party. And then if you become a PC, then you're eligible to become a state committee member, which gives you the opportunity to have a say-so in state party leadership and rules and bylaws and those kinds of things. The nice thing about becoming a PC is the more PCs that we have, the more state committee members that we get. So for every 3 precinct committee persons, we get 1 state committee member. And right now, we this last cycle, we had over 250 precinct committee people, which gave us 86 state committee members, which is the most in the state. Now everybody's coming for us. So that being said, if you are a current PC, we would love for you to continue. What does that mean, being a PC? It means whatever time commitment you want to give to it. We don't require you to do anything, but we ask you to help us elect Democrats and help register voters. And that can manifest itself in any number of ways. That can be the traditional way of knocking on doors and talking to your neighbors about candidates. It can also be writing letters, postcards. It can be attending events, talking to your neighbors about things that are on the ballot, putting yard signs out, coming to meetings. It's really up to you what your time allows you to do. And when everybody contributes, then none of us have to do everything. So I would encourage you, if you're a current state committee member and you haven't filled out the survey, to let us know if you're planning on continuing. I have the forms. You guys can grab them today, and then we will have a meeting down the road about planning some signing parties to collect our signatures. And if you're not currently a PC, come see me and we'll see if we can get you appointed now, because we can still appoint people through August. And then the election happens and then we start all over for 26 to 28. So, seeing after the meeting, if you need your forms, we have them up here. And on that next day, we're gonna talk to our legislators. Today was opening day at the Arizona legislature. So if Representative Contreras, Senator Epstein can come up, and if Rep. Travers is here, I don't know if I saw her. You guys can come up and give us a quick update, but while we're talking about that, one of the ways that we get to have our voices heard down at the legislature is the mechanism called request to speak. Civic engagement beyond voting makes it really easy. If you sign up for their newsletter, you're able to get a weekly email with all the bills that are coming up that are going to be heard, and you get to log in online and give your opinion about those bills. You don't actually have to speak in person, but if you want to, you can. And we have a handout on the table that explains how you can sign up to get logged in to RTS, request to speak. And every week, Civic Engagement does a happy hour where they talk about what's coming up that week. You guys can go through it together. Depending on your time, you can spend 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, depending on what craziness is coming through the ledge. It's very, very informative. You get to learn about who the whack jobs are that are putting crazy legislation out there and who are the same ones. So we do have a video, but I want to give the legislators a chance to give us a quick update before we show the request to speak video.
Good evening, I'm the CFC, your state senator, and thank you. One of your state reps, Stacey Travers, sends her very best, but she is watching online and couldn't be here in person, but hello, Stacey. So, yes, let's give Stacey a round of applause. So today was opening day. My husband calls it opening day at Coliseum very appropriately. It was, naturally our Senate president had to say horrible things when Senator Annalise Ortiz made some very poignant remarks about ICE. And instead of taking the high road, he took the lowest road he could find. So we're starting out like that. But aside from that, it was, January is the most positive and optimistic month of them all. So in order to diminish our hopes entirely, we're going to start off with a Finance and Ways and Means Committee meeting right away this Wednesday in 2 days. Now, let me explain. Normally, Finance in the Senate is the Taxes Committee. I'm ranking member on that one. We meet on Mondays. First Monday is opening day. We don't meet that day. Next Monday is Martin Luther King Day. It's the one vacation day we take in the legislature, so we don't meet that day. So the Finance Committee usually doesn't meet until the third week. And, that's fine. The budget takes a little longer to get going. This year, we'll be meeting the third day of the legislative session. And you may be wondering, well, what's the big deal? Well, the answer is veto bait. So the Republicans want to send our Democratic Governor Hobbs a bill that she absolutely is going to veto because it will be all of the worst tax package that comes along with the Trump HR 1. He called it I call it the one big betrayal bill. They're going to put all of it in there. It would horribly ruin the budget. We don't have the money for this stuff. And they're all really bad ideas. They're basically helping those who don't need help. So they're going to run this bill through on Wednesday, send it up to her on Thursday, and she will veto it. And that is how the Republican Party likes to waste your tax dollars. So we will do our best to fight against it and speak up for sensibility and all the things that help us. Today, our Democratic platform, we came out with it. It is for the Arizona we can afford. We want an Arizona we can afford. And the three basics are we are going to fight against corporate greed. We're going to work to support public education and better jobs. And we're going to make healthcare more affordable.
So those are the things that we know will actually help your lives, and that's why we're interested in working on them. In the meantime, we will have to spend a lot of time doing the main part of our job. We kill bad bills from the Republicans. So with your help, we'll keep on doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Hello, I'm Peggy First, your state representative, and we'll be following in Senator Epstein's footsteps next season, next session, hopefully. With all your help, I'm running for state senator, and we are in agreement on that, right, state senator? Maxie Epstein, not like what's the Altitude Foothills News put in an article or on our under our pictures this last week that said we're going to be fighting each other. Well, that is not the case at all. Senator Epstein endorsed me. We talked about it. So hopefully, the editor will put a retraction in this week, and so yeah, you heard from all of us, I'm sure. I heard from a lot of you too. So thank you. Those of you who were in the know, all of you here, and a lot of folks out there, knew that he was very wrong and he should have checked his facts before he posted that. But anyway, yes, we had opening day today, and it was good. The governor spoke to the joint chambers and talked about affordable Arizona. That's what we want. We want folks to be able to afford to live here, to be able to get by, buy groceries, buy homes and all. And she came up with a lot of good ideas. If you get the paper, I'm sure they'll have a lot of the highlights in that tomorrow or tonight, so you can see what she has to talk about. But those are the types of things that we'll be working towards this year. As Senator Epstein mentioned, veto bait is something that they're some of the bills that they've already proposed have already been proposed and gone through 2 or 3 times. The governor's already vetoed them, so they're gonna veto them again. They're just wasting our time because obviously those are the bills, they're the Republican bills, they get heard, they get to go on committees, they get on the floor, they get voted on. So it's we're taking all this time on bills we know they're gonna get vetoed because they were already vetoed. And they're terrible bills. And I think they're just kind of trying to build up the numbers so that they have something to fight against her later on in the election season. That she's the veto queen, she's not working with us, but that's not the case at all. She wants what's right for all Arizonans. And we hope that you will support her and support all of us as we go on with our election this next year. Well, let's see, Senator, already mentioned an Arizona we can afford is our mantra this year. We're gonna be working on that as much as possible, trying to get some bills heard. And it's just one of those things where we have to try to talk to our colleagues across the aisle. Couple of things, I heard solar energy earlier. Something I got emails about from some people out here, I don't know, maybe one of you sent me this email about balcony solar that Utah just passed. And basically, that's a unit that you put on your balcony that powers your house. I thought that was a great idea, and so I'm gonna propose it. So I'm putting it through. Well, let's say I'm proposing it, let's say that. I know the utilities won't be happy about that because, it'll take some money out of their pocket. But really, if we have all this sun, right? If we can just put a unit in front of our, in the back of our house or, on our balcony and be able to power our houses, that would be awesome. And the other thing I've been talking about, of course, is the deed fraud. And I have a great plan this year. I actually have bipartisan support. I had Senator Carroll sign my bill. I had Representative Simon Bills, the Representative Bliss and Representative Lynn both agreed to sign my bill. But what it is we talked about the deed fraud where right now you can do a title alert for if you're not in Maricopa County. But it gives you notification after your title's already been recorded. This will start at the beginning of the process. So we're gonna, when you want to buy your house or sell your house, it'll go through the title company, will go straight to the information, will go to the Department of Real Estate, Department of Real Estate already has the money to do this program, this IT program. They already have the money, they're working on it already, and it's just a matter of us doing it. And that you will get notified right away that your house is gonna get sold, and if it's not, you can say something about it and stop the process there. And we're going to fight to get this heard. The committee chairs already agreed to hear it. It's just a matter of trying to get it to the Senate and see if they'll hear it, because I understand we have some hard heads over on that side. So, which I'm just so happy to go and join them next year. So. But other than that, I'm hoping to have some events probably starting in February after kind of January gets settled down. The first part of the session is always really, really crazy busy because we're trying to get all of the bills heard and read and all. I'm on 3 committees. I don't know what Senator Epstein is on, but she's on 3 committees too. And so it takes a lot of time. But do the request to speak. I know they're going to be talking about it here after I get done. Do the request to speak. Let us know what you think. Give us your thumbs up, thumbs down, a lot of thumbs down if it's a lot of Republican bills. And because we do look at those, your comments and what you have on there. So, but we'll be looking in probably February for some more events, along with volunteers. We'll be going out and finishing up our signatures and also be on the lookout for that. If you're not on my website on my list already, go to my website and sign up to get on my my distribution list for emails and newsletters. All right, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
We have lots of found things from a long time ago. This jacket belongs to you. Please take it so Joanne doesn't have to take it home again. I also have this water bottle. Anyone? From the holiday party, we have some readers. And a pink and gold earring. So if any of this belongs to you, please come grab it. Financials. All this information is available on the Secretary of State's website, generally speaking. But for December, we had a beginning cash balance of $38,589.21. We had contributions of $3,439.57 and disbursements of $2,855.72. Most of that came from the holiday party, food and supplies. We thank you all who came and joined us at the party. We had a great time, and thank you to Mark and Rich again for hosting. And our ending cash balance for December was $39,173.06. And we had budgeted that we would be ending the year at $37,047.66. So we're doing great, but it's now officially election year, so we need more money. So if you are interested in becoming a recurring donor, any recurring donation over $5, you will get either a name badge or a t-shirt. And those are the monies that we can use to plan ahead. All the recurring donations is what we can count on. All of the money that goes, that comes in for the raffle baskets, we use to pay for this room. And we're able to print materials and do petition signing events and all of those things that get our candidates' names out there, get them on the ballot, get them elected. We have a really great track record and we want to keep it up in 2026. So any donation that you can make is greatly appreciated. Cash, check, card. Gary?
I just wanted to say these are really wonderful name tags. You should probably get them. I did a recurring donation whenever it was, and it was like, oh my God, what a wonderful name tag. So it's like totally, even if you don't want to support anything else we do, get yourself a name tag.
Get a name tag. Jerry says, get yourself a name tag. They're fantastic. Thank you, Jerry. And then we also have merchandise, we have t-shirts, we have bumper stickers, we still have cookbooks, we have what else? Bumper stickers. Okay. So Kate has all of that over here. You can also purchase through the Act Blue page, which I don't know if there's a QR code for merch, but Kay has it over there. Last up, we're gonna do our voting raffle. And while we're preparing for that, if you have anything for new business, we'll open it up to the floor. 1 minute announcements, you will be timed. So if you're a candidate, you have something you want to talk about, come on up and line up, and then we'll get with Mark so we can do the raffle. The microphone to you. Ready? Mark, okay, Mark is, are you ready? Sharon, do you have your screen shared yet?
It says I'm sharing.
Oh, will you put yours down? Okay, here we go. I can't read this, so Mark, you're gonna have to interpret for me.
Is that better?
Right. Nicole, can you hold the mic for Mark so he can actually do the computer?
I got
Is that bigger now?
I still can't see it, so just tell me which one we're doing.
Okay. So we sold 240 want T tickets.
238 tickets. Which basket is this for?
Want T.
Oh, want T.
Want.
So number 103 is the winner.
Okay, number 103 is.
Go down.
Patty the Bird.
All right, and then the wine and dessert basket, how many tickets?
216.
216 tickets sold for that basket.
Number 157.
All right, who's lucky 157?
Molly Dunn.
Molly. Congratulations, Representative Gutierrez, Molly Donnelly. Please grab your baskets before you leave. And then I will open up the floor to new business. Let me grab my timer and come on up. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I volunteer with a local organization called Organized Solidarity. We directly work with families who have been impacted by ICE, our neighbors. I brought a lot of resources about if you happen to see ICE, what you can do about it, as well as green cards and red cards that you can hand out. Honestly, anyone that's gonna get racially profiled, because they're gonna get racially profiled by people that are more dangerous to them. There's information on the green cards that have to do with if they get forcibly detained. This is really important information, like what paperwork they need to keep, as well as the rights that they have if they get deported to Mexico. As well as if you wanna volunteer or if you wanna donate. We don't have any administrative costs. Any money that you donate goes straight to groceries or supplies to the families who have been affected by ICE. And they're usually mothers and children that their sole breadwinner has just been kidnapped. That's all I have to say. So I feel there's a lot of hot spots in gas stations and public parking lots. Particular hot spots in Tempe are Baseline, Priest, and Southern. But yeah, it's kind of all over, so.
Hi, I'm Jane Hyder. Jacob George was fabulous, wasn't he? The reason I became so rabid about this organization is my baby grandson, Jaime's going to be a freshman next year at Corona. And I want him to have peers and exposure to democratic values that are antithetic to Turning Point USA. Please contribute. It's $80 a month to sponsor a chapter. That's all. And 2 of you can get together, 4 of you can get together. You don't have to do the chapter business. You just give the money
And unity rises and takes over from there because, as Jacob said, they know how to talk to kids. They know what kids need to know and what they will listen to. So please, please be generous so that you know when you go to sleep at night that you've done what you can to turn young people against Turning Point USA.
Hi, everyone. Brooke St. George. I'm running for Tempe City Council, and I just wanted to let a few things that are coming up. So for all you Tempe residents, we have several forums in the next couple of weeks. Not only do we have our LD8/LD12 forum next Tuesday, the 20th at the Tempe Library, we also have one this Wednesday hosted by the Arizona Republic. That is at the Tempe History Museum. That starts at 6 p.m. That is open to the public. I just have, and we have a couple of other smaller ones, but those are the two biggies. And then I also have just a couple of requests. I have a Canvas launching out of Campbell Park here in LD12. We are going to be carrying lit for both myself and Stacy Travers. That is 9 a.m. Campbell Park this Saturday, the 17th. And I am still trying to raise money for my campaign for this final push. We're in the last 2 months. Ballots drop in Tempe February 11th. So all registered Tempe voters will get that ballot in the middle of February. Tell your Tempe friends. If you live in Tempe, it's so important. So we're raising money for that last push for Tempe.com. Thank you.
Also, for Tempe, if you have questions or the candidates that you would like us to ask, you can do that when you register or mobilize. You can insert a question and we'll take a look at those from there.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Franklin Zyra, candidate for County Governing Board. Good evening, LD12. I just want to give a quick update. As many as you know, Kyron has concluded its long-range planning process. As a result, unfortunately, 6 schools will be closing in the coming years. It's a painful process and very appropriate to mourn the loss of our neighborhood schools. But it's also important to remember that Kyron is much more than its buildings, its dedicated educators, innovative programs, students who are excited to learn, and the parents and community members who provide support. With the remaining schools that are actually going to have more students and higher capacity, there's going to be opportunity for more programs to have the proper resources and staffing to continue to have positive outcomes for our students. Happy to take any questions after this. I'll be in the back. I also have my petition and some card magnets if you're interested. And in my last 10 seconds, putting on a different hat, Janet Hamlin, Arlene Chen, council member from Tempe, Janet Hamlin couldn't be here tonight for Arlene, but we have yard signs for Arlene in the back, as well as some literature about her as well for Tempe City Council. Thank you.
Everyone, my name is Paul Sick, and I'm running for Congress in AC Board. I just wanted to come on here and introduce myself really quickly and just give a background on why I'm running for City Board, and it's pretty much to represent the working class. As a working class father, I have a 5-year-old son, and I find myself on a daily basis making these decisions that I believe the representatives in Congress currently don't, because they don't represent the working class. Majority of them are millionaires, with only 2% be working class. They don't have to decide between healthcare or daycare. They don't sit, in aisles of grocery stores looking at, trying to make a decision what they can afford and what they can't. As a single father, I have my background a little bit is in pre-law with alternative dispute resolution and MBA, and I still find myself struggling. And I think I truly believe that's because we lack representation in the Congress, and that's why I'm running for City Board. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Armando Montero. I'm running to be your next state representative here in LD12. One of these, please take one. Please donate to her campaign. We need to keep her in this seat. She is fantastic. Second, I have the pleasure of spending the day with Representative Travers down on opening day. Got to be on the floor listening to the governor's State of the State speech, so I want to thank Stacey and she's online for the invitation. And lastly, my campaign kickoff is going to be, so this is coming up 2 weeks, Sunday the 25th this month, at Molly Donnelly's house. So thank you for hosting Molly. If you have not had a chance to RSVP yet, please come and see me. I have a QR code so you can come and RSVP. Even if you don't think you might, or you don't know if you'll make it, RSVP just so we know how much food to get, so we can prepare well for that. So thank you all so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Catherine Peters. Just want to give myself an introduction. I'm running for Kyrene School District Governing Board for this 2026 election. I am a wife, a former Kyrene student, and current Kyrene parent dedicated to protecting our public education. When Kyrene, like many other districts around the state, announced the closures of schools, I stood with other Kyrene parents in our fight to keep more schools open. Together, we provided data to the board and helped aid in the decision to say 2 out of the 8 proposed schools slated for closure. My priority for Kyrene moving forward is to increase our enrollment by working closely with our marketing department, ensure there's a complete transparency and understanding of our district spending and finances, and expand opportunities to all Kyrene kids, no matter their social status. Kyrene School District needs a Kyrene mom for Kyrene Board. So any advice, collaboration, or support is greatly welcome and appreciated. Please see me after the meeting. I have my petition back there to sign. If you're online, you can email me at info@catherineforkyrene.com. And I want to thank you guys so much for welcoming me into your community. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Abramson III, and I'm a candidate for Tenville Elementary Governing Board for 2026. And I think I want to take a moment to hopefully become a more familiar face to everybody here as well and talk about a little bit about my background. My professional career started in social work, where I worked with families, getting them out of shelter and into housing and helping that get subsidized as well. And that's when I began to really understand the importance of those early formative years of working with families. But for those who are my fellow social workers that are in the room, you understand how difficult it is to kind of peel away at something like that as well. And so that has led to my political journey where I've bounced around from location to location. And I've been able to spend the past 6 years down at the state legislature working and advocating for a variety of policies that help our families. I currently work for the Arizona Alliance for Community Health Centers, where we continue to advocate for accessible healthcare for everybody. And I would love to be able to pivot my social work skills, those policy and advocacy skills, to the Tempe Elementary School moving forward as well. So hopefully you can spend some time getting all of them here and LD12 and fellows as well. Thank you.
We all lost a very, very good friend this last year, Miss Linda. And Linda Monheit, for all of you who know her, wanted to stay with us to her 100th birthday. And unfortunately she couldn't, but her daughter made her a promise that she would celebrate her birthday. And that is the day we're gonna have her celebration of life. Everyone that knew her, I would love for you to please attend. It's gonna be February 8th on a Sunday, which is Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone is aware. It's gonna be at 2 o'clock, and it's not an open house format. It's gonna start sharp at 2 o'clock because there's a lot of football fans that will be there too, but there's a lot of people who are fans of the art. So I hope you can join us. It's gonna be here in Ahwatukee. If you have any questions, come see me after. And one thing that I've been asked by her daughter to ask is how many people in the room here right now plan to attend so she can make sure that she has enough food. It will be food, it will be live music, it will be everything, Miss Linda. It will not disappoint, I promise. So how many people, just for me to get an idea? Great, thank you so much. And if you didn't feel comfortable holding your hand, come talk to me after, but I recognize the faces here too. So, and then we have more. You what?
The details are also in Slack.
Yeah, the details are in Slack, and then we have more because her life is going and her legacy is going to live on. So let's talk about that.
Linda was a musician, as many of you may have known. She was an opera singer and taught piano. And so her daughter has set up a scholarship fund for the Children's Chorus of Phoenix. If you're interested in donating, there is a website which will also give you information about this wonderful event. And it's lindababittmemorial.com, 3 T's, BABITT. And I suggest you take a peek. It also contains information about her life and an opportunity to share photographs if you have any memories.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hello, I'm Fred Barlow. I just wanted to bring something to everybody's attention in this room. I volunteer with the Maricopa County Recorder's Office to register new voters at the naturalization ceremonies at the Sandra Day O'Connor Courthouse. I want you to know what the directives coming down from Stephen Miller and Trump, where we were registering up to about 12 to 1,400 people a month. We've been told that as of February, we're gonna only be able to register 100 per month. Yep, and and they're only gonna be naturalizing 100 per month. From this point on, they've already have a list of 19 countries where they won't naturalize from. The only one that's predominantly white is Cuba. It's my understanding that the list will be expanded to 30. Now multiply this throughout the whole nation, not just here what's going on in Phoenix.
Hi, Nick Collins. Just wanted to reiterate one more time about People's Primary. There's a sheet on your table about it. If you want to join, there's a QA. We're going to try to get Terry Goddard to join one of these and talk to us a little bit about it because he's an endorser of it, helped us formulate the final version of it. And for me, I just want to say real quick, I think it's important to have this because what we have is, money in our politics. And I think our party's brand could be boosted by just making an effort to try to get it out, just trying to get caught trying to do something about this with what we have control over. We do have, as a party, we have control over our own primaries to some extent, so that's what we're trying to do.
I'm actually talking for Paul, who couldn't be here. In regards to the People's Primary, there is a lot of controversy about it, and you need to know both sides. That the present version, there is controversy on how it is going to go ahead and be implemented. And people think it's being rushed, and people think that could hurt our candidates. So if you would like to talk about the other, side of it, you can call Paul, you can talk to him. So just for transparency, there's two sides. Everybody agrees with the concept, but having it rush is not something that we want to do.
Okay, I have for David over here, this fine young man in the corner, but like a ride or carpool to Yuma. So if anybody's going in, have room in their car, please reach out or see him so that he can carpool. He didn't want to come up here, so he asked me to do it for him. So there we go.
And if we have. If there's nothing else, then I will close the meeting. No, we'll send him a YouTube video out, or we'll do it at the next meeting. Yes, we did during upcoming events. Game night is on
Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Saturday at 3 o'clock at Jill Whitman's house. You will get the address upon RSVP. And with nothing else, then we will see you next month on February 9th. This is a very good 7:40. Thank you guys.